In this tutorial, we are distorting lines based on facial characteristics. Hello and welcome guys, ArmaganVideos here. Today we are distorting lines with Photoshop and then use this technique to create an awesome looking cover for music CDs, for example. I hope you are going to enjoy this tutorial. If so, make sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe. And since subscribing is almost completely useless nowadays, make sure to hit that little bell right under the video so you get notified when I upload a new video. So without further ado, let's jump straight into Photoshop. Okay, so there we are in Photoshop. Let's click on new and create a new document. I'm just going to call mine cover and it's 1500 by 1500 pixels tall and white. And we're going to leave it at 72 ppi for the resolution and change the background content to black. So we got a black background when we are starting our document. And okay, let's first of all save this PSD because we're going to save it a lot of times in the tutorial. I'm just going to call it cover, name it how you want, and I'm just going to grab the rectangle tool and change the foreground color to white, no stroke, and yeah, let's drag out a shape. Of course, first set the foreground color to white. There we go. And well, with X you can change between the foreground and background color. And let's make sure to drag out a nice small line right here. It shows you the height in pixels and I'm just going to make it 6 pixels tall or high. And if you're having the move tool selected and press Ctrl or Command and A, you can select the whole artboard, then select your layer and make sure to center that line because we want it right in the middle, perfectly aligned. And if you hold down Alt, you can see how the cursor changes. This means it's going to create a copy and I'm dragging it down until it shows me, until the guidelines show me that there are 20 pixels apart from each other. Then select those two shapes again while holding Shift and dragging these down again. Then select them again, hold down Shift until the guidelines show 20 again, and same again. Alt dragging, Shift selecting, guidelines with 20 pixels and we get a perfect grid of lines right here. And this may hurt your eyes because there's so much contrast in this image right now. So let's group them up real quick and call them stripes. Press Ctrl T with the whole stripes and let's bring them in a little bit because I want the sides and the top and bottom to be perfectly equal or have the perfect distance. And let's center that up again. And let's bring down the opacity so your eyes won't get hurt during this tutorial. Okay, next up I've got my images ready. Just drag them in and make sure to hold down Shift and Alt while you are dragging them up. Otherwise they will wriggle around like this and the proportions will be broken. So hold down Shift and Alt while you are dragging them in or pasting them in. Make sure that your photos are really contrasty for this effect to work really well. The best case is if you are standing in front of a dark background with the light coming from above, for example a street light. This gives a lot of contrast in the face of your protagonist, which makes the effect look really great. Alright, next up let's hide our glitch texture and we want our face of the woman to be perfectly covering our stripes. So let's press Ctrl T to transform it and hold down Shift and Alt to scale it up. Yeah, that's perfect already. And yep, so before we start with anything, let's copy our two layers right here by selecting them and pressing Ctrl or Command J. Then go to Blur, Gaussian Blur, and for the face of the woman we're going to give her a blur radius of 20 pixels. And for the glitch we're doing the same, but this time we're giving it a blur radius of around 5 pixels. And why are we doing this? We're going to create displacement maps just right now, so make sure to save this out, only the blurred image of the woman, and we're going to call this one displacement map face, and we're going to save out the displacement map for the glitch as well, and let's call this one displacement map texture. Okay, now we can delete these both because we got the displacement maps, and make sure to save it as a PSD, otherwise they won't be counted as a displacement map. Okay, now we got our woman face. Let's create a clipping mask to our stripes and you can see that the face is now applied onto our stripes and it's only visible where it's really bright and where the dark parts are. you can't really see anything. So let's release the clipping mask and actually apply a levels clipping mask to our face so we can actually see all the edges of our face right here, because we have to cut out the face right now. And I'm going to use the pen tool for this one. If you're not able to use the pen tool, or if you don't know how it works, make sure to check out the description. There are 2 games in there where you can learn the pen tool in a effective and playful way. So yeah, don't worry, just check the description. Okay, once we've done with the pen tool, we can right click, make selection and leave everything as it is, 0 feather radius, and click on this clipping mask icon. And now you can see we actually have our stripes back again. If you now create a clipping mask and delete the levels again because we don't need it, you can see that we can see these stripes at the corner. Next up, let's create a black and white filter for our face right here. And yeah, that looks really nice already. But now let's also add a bit of brightness and contrast to kind of make our face a little bit brighter, so it matches the stripes at the corner or at the edge. And well, what you could do now is create a copy of our stripes right here by holding Alt and dragging it down, but I'm just going to convert it to a smart object because I think it's a smarter way to work. And yeah, convert to smart object, right click, convert to smart object. And well, now we can actually select our stripes, go to filter, distort, displace. And here you have to really play around. I can't tell you the numbers, but I'm going to go for 10 horizontal scale and 10 vertical scale and leave everything as it is. Then hit OK and select our first displacement map, which is the face which we've just created. And boom, you can see our stripes got displaced. If you can't see it, I'm just going to zoom out real quick. And there you can see it is like as if the face of the woman has been pressed into these lines, and thus the lines get distorted. Now select our stripes again, displace. This time I'm going with a horizontal scale of 5 and a vertical scale of 2. Leave everything as it is, and we want to bring in some distortion at the edges. So we're going to now select our texture displacement map, and you can see the edges got distorted a lot and the background a bit as well. Now we can enable our glitch texture again and bring it down right under the face. So there's a bit of texture going on the stripes. And we're also going to give it a Gaussian blur of right around, let's test it out, 3 or 4. 3 should be right, because I don't want to have too much texture going on in the background, because the face is the main focus point. Okay, since the lines of our face are really hard and sharp, we are going to select our clipping mask, double click in there, and you will get these properties right here where you can tweak the edges of your clipping mask or of the mask itself. And if you bring in the feather radius, you can really see how it kind of blends the face into the background, which looks really nice. And I'm just going to play around right here. Maybe 6 to 8 pixels of feather radius looks really good. Yeah, just like that, or maybe even more. Let's see. And there's a bit of weird lines going on the edges right there, but that should be all right. Looks really good. Just hit apply, and if you hit apply, it creates a copy. So make sure to drag down this one as a backup and select our newly created copy, right click, create clipping mask, because if it creates a copy, it's going to remove the clipping mask. So make sure to keep that in mind if something got messed up actually. Yeah. Now let's actually create our text. So we kind of get a feeling for the spacing and everything and the sizes. And I'm going to create a new layer and use the text tool by pressing T, and I'm just going to type in, I don't know, something very generic, because it's really going to be your title if you're creating a cover or if you're just tuning your images. Hold down Alt and drag it down, and I'm just going to call this one album name, or your album. Let's drag it down a little bit, or maybe let's actually call it title. Yep, center that up with the technique that I showed you in the beginning. And well, now we can actually create a solid color. Ooh, white looks really nice actually. And yeah, we're going to make the background a bit more grayish, not so darkish. Just like that, it really gives the distorted look a bit better feeling. Now click on the woman's face and create a new layer on top of it, which automatically will be created as a clipping mask. Select our newly created background color, like the grayish dark color and our tone, and make sure to use the brush tool to kind of draw on this layer, so we are hiding the eyes and every highlights from the eyes, so that the eyes kind of look like dark holes right there. And this really adds to the effect because, yeah, it makes it really mystical, I would say. And yeah, look at this, looks awesome, right? Okay, there's one thing that I don't like right now, and it is the contrast of the lines at the edge and the contrast of the face. So make sure to hold Command and select our face or the mask, because if you're clicking on it with Command, you get the selection of the actual mask, and we're going to bring down the, yeah, just Command click on here, and we're going to bring down the brightness of the stripe. So create a mask for this one too, and let's actually bring down the density to right about, let's see, something between 50 and 70 or so, maybe even less. I really want to set the focus on the face, that's why I'm doing this. Yeah, 37 looks really great. Maybe let's tweak the brightness as well to make it more dark, or to make it darker. Bring up the contrast as well, and yeah, that's a nice balance. I think it looks really nice. Something like this should do the trick. And yeah, let's disable our titles right there. Create a new layer, call it final, don't make it a clipping mask, then go to image, apply image, and what this does is basically print this whole image that you can see to your new layer right here. And well, now we're going to go to filter, liquify, and make sure to copy my brush settings right here. It's depending on your image size. And I'm just going to use the size of 70, the pressure of 20, and the density of 50. And then just drag around in your image to kind of create these displacement, this manual displacement in your image. And you can click multiple times or even change the size and pressure to get a more different look. And yeah, I think this is really important because it adds to the effect of the distortness of the distorted image. And yeah, just click around a little bit, make sure that it looks good. Also go to the edges, and yeah, it should look really organic, I would say. Okay, that's enough. Let's click OK. We get this ready. And what should we add now? Yeah, we can go to, or first of all, let's zoom in, because as you can see, the stripes are really sharp. So let's go to blur, Gaussian blur, and let's add a minor blur right here. So maybe 0.3 or 0.4. Yeah, 0.6 is fine. And let's also go to filter, noise, add noise, and I'm just going to add like 4% uniform monochromatic noise because it really looks nice and adds to the distorted effect. Let's enable our titles again, and boom, we are finished. Looks awesome. If you enjoyed this tutorial, guys, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Enable the little bell right under this video and suggest me some more tutorials on Facebook. Until the next tutorial, ArmaganVideos.